Hi folks, I'd like to talk with you today about finishing your bent wood boxes, whether they be shaker style boxes, whale ship era ditty boxes, trays, or colonial style boxes. Now we have to understand when we're talking about finishes that finishes do two things. First of all, they make the boxes look good, but secondly, they provide dimensional stability over time. Whenever we build a box, we have a 1/16 inch sideband typically, or something about 1/16 inch thick, and a 1/4 inch bottom and top board. And no matter what you do, no matter how careful you are in your joinery initially, you're going to get a situation where in the summertime when the humidity's high, this box will absorb some moisture. And in the winter, when your wood stove's gone and your fireplace, it's going to lose some. And these two boards are going to move a little bit. Now, not much because they're small, and the movement is in proportion to the size and the direction of the grain. But you're still going to have some movement. And over time, you'll have a gap develop between the sideboard and the bottom boards. This box is pretty good. I don't see any light coming through anywhere. And that's one of your objectives. You can meet that objective through careful joinery, or you can help yourself tremendously after you're done by finishing your boxes appropriately. Many people want to simply sand to about 220, wipe something on it, or spray something and call it a day, one coat. Refrain from that temptation. You've spent a great deal of time making a box. Spend some time on the finishes also, and you'll be happy with that box 10, 15 years down the line. I'm going to tell you what I typically do. I typically put 2 coats of stain on the boxes and then 3 coats of polyurethane, giving plenty of time to dry between the coats. I lightly sand with 220 grit between the coats of varnish, and after I'm done, I take a Scotch Brite pad and go over it just lightly, and then on some of the boxes, I'll put some furniture polish on at the end. Finishing wax is what it's called. Now this box here was the first box I ever made, and it has suffered. It looks antique because we put it on a south-facing window in the kitchen. Let it get splattered with water and grease and in the sunlight, and even set things on top facing outside. And those are sins when it comes to bent wood boxes. You should never let a box live in the sunlight. You should not place things on the top to make marks on it, and you shouldn't get it wet. Simple as that. But the fact of the matter is that box has been abused, and it's one of the best boxes I have. It's still very tight. You can't see any light coming through, and that's because I spent a lot of time finishing it, and I finished the inside and the outside. Now a tip here, if you're going to use that box to store any food stuff, you don't want to finish the inside with anything other than maybe just a coat of shellac that'll gas off quickly. Otherwise, the food stuff is going to pick up the taste and smell of whatever finishes you used. So most shaker boxes are not finished on the inside. See that? That's just plain. And that's okay because it's closed up most of the time, and it's not going to take on as much moisture as the outside. But whatever you do, finish the outsides, spend some time on it. The other thing I want to mention is when people see the boxes, the first thing they do is pick them up. And when they pick them up, they feel them. Go ahead and sand clear down to 400 or through 400. Some of these boxes I sand to 1000 grit, and it feels really good when you pick it up. People like that. Yes, your stain won't absorb as quickly. You might have to use the 2 coats that I use, but you'll have a better box down the line.